Hey folks, it's Shannon. I wanted to talk to you about the third prompt in the 12 Days of Yule. I'm really excited about this prompt because I love reflecting on the year before, and it was really awesome to have a chance to kind of think about my practice specifically and what happened with it in 2023. I wanted to start off our conversation by talking about my intentions for the year. I feel like intentions with energy are how we make magic. And so it's really important to the way that I practice. Um, I found that the year was really full of overarching themes for me. So I found that there were two big intentions that kind of wove their way through the year. The first one was one that I started the year with, and that was to protect my peace. I had been working with this intention for a little while, in the form of a crystal grid that one of my good friends helped me make. And I continued to use affirmations and things like that to support that practice, um, which led me to some pretty drastic action in that I quit my job and changed a lot of the relationships that I was in. The second big intention that I ended up working with was a direct result of the fact that I had quit my job and had to deal kind of directly with a lot of my scarcity mindset. Um, I came into the year thinking that I was going to need to figure out how to make money work. And it turns out that abundance is much more than just money. My practice with abundance started off with some typical things and some mundane things. I worked on checking my finances over very carefully. I worked on having regular dates with my checkbook to make sure that I was doing what I was wanting to do with my money. Um, yeah, and also supplemented it with kind of a lot of witchy things like an abundance bowl. Next, I want to talk about some of the allies that I work with in my practice. Um, there are many, and I'm not going to get into all of them today. I think there are some later prompts that will be very helpful for this. But I wanted to talk about some of the new allies that I started working with over the course of the year because it was kind of amazing how some of these goddesses in particular showed up for me this year. Um, at the beginning of the year, I had this inkling that somebody was wanting to work with me, and I wasn't sure who it was. The first goddess that I noticed reaching out to me this year was the kayak. I'll put the spelling on the screen so that you know what I'm saying. But and apologies to anybody Scottish or Irish if I'm saying it completely wrong. Um, the kayak is an older woman, a very old woman, who's known for shaping the land in Scotland and Ireland. There are many stories about her, some of them contradictory, um, and she is honored in a lot of the names of places, showing that she's been around for a very long time. Um, she kind of came forward for me, and there were a lot of synchronicities around getting a particular deck called the Wisdom of the Kayak. From there, I wanted to move into some of the practices that have been new to me this year, specifically the deck and walk, work with the ancestral grimoire, um, the Moonwise Goddess membership, and kind of journaling in general. This was the year where I got my journaling back, and I am so happy about it, in large part thanks to Jessica and the Moon, whose channel I will link below. I have found the deck and walk to be such a really profound way to work with the minor arcana and learn more about the tarot as well as astrology. It's been really great, and I think the community is really awesome. So I will link Marlena Teresa's first video, which I believe will link to the playlist and show you all of the various awesome content that people have made along with the deck and walk this year. The practice involved reading the book Ancestral Grimoire by Nancy Hendrickson and working with one ancestor that would step forward, usually through the lens of tarot, to work with you over the course of the month in a different theme. And it was just such a powerful practice to get to know some of my ancestors and to just work with intuition in a different way to try and connect with the people that have come before me. To talk about journaling and the Moonwise Goddess membership, I feel like I need to show you some of what I've been up to. So let's flip the camera around and I'll show you some of what we've been up to this year. So this is an Archer and Olive B5 blackout journal that I think is quite striking, and we'll start right away with this title page, which I am extremely proud of. It took me a lot of work, and I just love the way that it looks. It sets up the theme of this journal really well, which is that I was using it for the Moonwise Goddess membership that Jessica Starr has on her channel. Check it out. Very important thing, title page, which I actually filled in all the way. And then the beginning of the year was kind of slow to get started for me. I don't know if it was that way for anybody else, but eventually I kind of woke up and started planning for the year around February. And it just so happened that we started with the membership at that time too. So I did some vision boarding, and then we start with the first month that's in here. Now I'll say month a couple times. It's basically month with an extra O to kind of focus it back on the moon cycle. It goes from new moon to new moon, basically. And that's kind of how the membership is structured. So we started out with this kind of layout where we were talking about prompts and then kind of recording some of the details of our day. Dragon's helping. He's helping. Can you tell? And then started recording some of the details of the week and some of the things that we worked with in that time period from moon phase to moon phase. So you'll see those prompt pages coming up pretty frequently. And then the membership also works with a goddess each month. And we pick one at the full moon and it goes to the next full moon. So this was my page dedicated to Artemis, who we were working with at this time. And then we do some reflection and we're on to the next month. So it started pretty simply. And this practice just deepened for me throughout the course of the year. You can see there's a lot of journaling space. There's a lot of information about different goddesses. There's these prompts and reflection pages. And just a way of kind of keeping track of the cycles of the year that was really supportive for me. So I hope you enjoyed that peek into my journal and with it my practice. It is a big part of the way that I keep track of what I'm doing and work magic in the world. So I hope that you've enjoyed this video. I will be putting out more content for the 12 days of Yule. And if you're interested in following along, feel free to subscribe. Thanks. Happy Yule.